Hello, this is Music Tech Help Guy, and welcome to episode 15 of my Pro Tools 11 video tutorial series. In this episode, I'm going to talk about recording to playlists and comping those playlists. Now, comping is essentially the process of creating composite takes out of multiple takes within your playlist. So what this lets you do is it lets you record multiple takes and then take the best parts of each take and bump them up into a main playlist and edit them together to create essentially a flawless, perfect take that has no mistakes in it. So this is a really, really useful feature for recording any instruments, voice, as well as MIDI. So for this video, I'm going to do it with acoustic guitar, and then in the next video, I'll show you how to do it with vocals. Keep in mind, you can also do this with MIDI as well. We just haven't really touched much on MIDI yet. So I've got my acoustic guitar up. I'm going to play in a little chord progression, and I'm going to play that same thing 2 additional times. I'll have 3 total takes, and then we'll pick the best playlist from the best parts of the 3. And I need my click track to stay in time, so let's give this a shot. All right, so there's our first take. In order to put this down in the playlist, there's a couple different ways you can do it. One, you can go to the waveform view or the track view selector and switch to playlists view. You can grab this take and just pull it straight down into your first playlist here, and then you can keep doing that. That's kind of the hard way. There is a shortcut. As long as you select the track, you can hit Control /. It'll say, do you want to create a new playlist? And you say yes. Bumps your current take down into a playlist and then creates a new blank playlist for you to work on. Now, if it's Control / on a Mac, that probably means that it is like the Windows button / on a PC. I'm honestly not really sure. But now we have this playlist down here. Now, when you do use a playlist, you're only going to hear the playlist when you actually solo the playlist. If you just hit play, you're just going to hear what's up here on top, which right now is nothing. But if I solo the playlist, we'll hear the playlist. So there we go. So we are free, as long as we unsolo this, we're free to go back to waveform view and record another take on top of this. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to hit 3 on my number pad, and we'll do another take. All right, so I'm going to hit Control / again, hit Enter, and we're going to do a third take. Now, I'm not really happy with the part that was, it went like... That's what I was trying to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in here somewhere. I think it was... Let's look at measure 9. I'm going to create a new playlist, jump in at measure 9. There we go. Okay, so let me just go to my playlists view. Here are my 4 playlists. Let me just bump. There we go. Sorry, not sure what happened there. I'm going to bump this latest playlist down into a new playlist. And there we go. So we have our 4 playlists to work with. Now let me just put my guitar down here. I normally don't do this, but I'm using my recording mic as my vocal capture mic as well, so bear with me. Let's just aim this actually at my mouth now. There we go. Okay. So let's go through this. Well, generally what I like to do is I go through this line by line, you know, bar, couple of bars at a time, and I listen to what the best takes are. So let's use my selector tool, slip mode, and let's just listen to maybe the first 2 bars here. So this is the first take down here. Actually, let's go with the first 4 bars. So you solo that take and hit play. Okay, it's not too bad. Let's solo the next take. I like the energy of the first half, but I like the energy of the second half in this. And let's listen to the third take now. By the way, when I select these, I'm making sure that my insertion follows playback is off, because then that means when I click here and I hit play, the insertion point will jump back to the original point, so I don't have to keep resetting the insertion point. So when I do this, I like to make sure that that's off. So let's listen to the third take. Yeah, I definitely like this part of this one. So you drag over it, you hit the up button, and it punches that take up into the main playlist. And I'm going to take this part of this one and punch that up into the main playlist. So now I have take 2 and take 1. So let's move over. Let's listen to the next section. Here's take 3. Yeah, I like how I added that little high note in there. And here's the first one. Yeah, I like this one. Actually, believe it or not, it's actually take 1, 2, 3. I'm not really sure how that happened, because it says acoustic guitar 01, 02. Normally it puts them in order. I'm not sure what happened there, but I do definitely like this take the most. So let's drag over that, hit the up arrow, let's move on to the next section. Here's the first one. I really like this part, but I know that I want to grab this part from this one, so let's listen to this one real quick. So then I'm just going to drag from basically before 8 through halfway through 9. So go from here to, we'll say there. There we go. Let's just trim this over a bit. There we go. All right, so I'm going to unsolo my playlist there. I'm going to put myself back in waveform view. And let's take a listen to this. Actually, let's do a heads and tails edit and everything. Let's just go ahead and edit everything up here. Get everything nice and tight. Again, I'm just going back and forth between my trim tool and my selector tool, or you can just use your smart tool. One little trick you can do is if all the trim points are correct, you can drag over everything and just hit F on the keyboard. It'll actually automatically add a fade to everything as long as the key focus mode is on. But I like to kind of go in and manually add the fade just because, I don't know, I feel like I have more control over the fade and I'm actually paying some attention to where the fade is. Generally, we should be putting our edits at a point of low volume. You know, it should never be right on like a waveform. So I'll generally find myself moving these edits around, just fine-tuning the edits a bit, just so I end up with the best take possible. Because again, the goal here is to make this sound like a flawless take. Like I played this all perfectly the very first time, and you know, we don't have to worry about it at all. Yeah, so again, the goal is to make it sound like a perfect take. So let's listen to this. And sometimes, like this area right here, it just didn't jive right. It just doesn't sound right, you know. It sounds like there's an edit in there, so you may find yourself just finding a different edit point and just honing in on that edit point and just cleaning that up a bit, as opposed to using the edit that you did before. So it's part of it's about, yes, it's about, like, you know, making sure that there's no bad notes, but there's a part of it's also about flow. You know, if the flow doesn't sound right, then you can tell that there was an edit, and that's, you know, that's not the goal here. And yes, I mean, that chord right there wasn't exactly the perfect chord, but the flow makes sense now. So I may have to go back down into the playlist and find a different chord there that works better, and maybe bump that chord up. And this is the wonderful thing about playlist editing is that those playlists are always there for us. There you go. So we solved our problem there just by bumping up another playlist. So once you're all done, you can drag over all these edits and you hit Shift Option 3, and you can render all of your edits into a new file. And so all of the fades are gone, and we now have a perfect take. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to do this exact same process, but for comping vocals, which is really where this comes in handy. You can do this with a single mic like I'm doing here, or with a stereo pair, or even for a multi-track instrument like drums. We'll eventually get into how to comp live drums as a group, which is, you know, that's a task in itself. So eventually we'll get to that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.